Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Doctor and Autism series. Today, I've joined with some great people who we'll be speaking about Doctor Who and autism today. So I'm going to go along the line and just ask everyone to introduce themselves again. They've all been on the show podcast before, and at different times, of course. We all haven't done this before. So right, I'm going to start with Says. You introduce yourself. Let's go.
Oh, ladies first. Well, I'm the only lady here on the episode. Pressure's on me. Hi, I'm Sez. I am a autistic content creator and I also have epilepsy. I have a podcast called The Social Wave Project, which Mason has been on as well. And I have done a historical documentary on the Titanic and an upcoming series on the Britannic as well. So that technically makes me a historian, basically. And I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, especially with the companions.
Yeah. It really relates into history as well. So you're doing well with the Titanic, and Doctor Who relates to history. So you're doing good stuff. Because I think I did a couple of videos for you on the Titanic, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah. So is that all finished now, the Titanic?
Yeah, that's completely finished now. So I'm not doing on the Britannic and the First World War with the nurses as I'm making this now. I've only just started, to be fair.
Okay. Well, exciting stuff. And yeah, so we'll go introduce everyone else, and then we can all just hip on and talk as we wish. James, over to you, my friend.
Hi, hey, my name's James. I'm a autistic rapper, kind of like content creator. I've done a lot of things, essentially just in the media space. From YouTube videos to actually working on film sets, TV sets, and essentially now what I do is music and edit videos for people. So there's not really much more to me. I also love Doctor Who, and I also watch a lot of just general Doctor Who stuff. So.
Yeah, because you like your music quite a lot, and see yours releasing kind of different songs and stuff that you relate to.
Yeah. So I'm very basic.
Yeah. Better than me though. Right. Well, thanks, James. Come back to you in a sec. Well, Hoover and Brown. We'll call you Sean. Like we can call you Hoover and Brown if you want, but what do you prefer, Sean?
I prefer Sean.
Okay.
So basically, I'm a small YouTuber on YouTube. They go by the name Hoover and Brown. I'm also a military brat. Lived in I think 8 states and 2 countries, Italy and Germany. And I've been a Doctor Who fan since 2013.
Okay. Wasn't that when Matt Smith was the Doctor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good time to be a Doctor Who fan, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that some people here are a big fan of Matt Smith, so well,
That's fine with me.
Yeah. It's great to have you back again, Sean.
You too.
Because we didn't have a conversation long ago, really. Me and you, did we? But yeah, it's great to have you back. We'll go to the last person, Mark, to introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Mark SW. I'm an autistic YouTuber. I'm also dyslexic. On my channel, I'm known for various videos, autism, Jerry Anderson, sci-fi events, robot wars, and I do like Doctor Who. In fact, my original YouTube name used to be Dalek Sram.
All right. That's a good fact for us, because I didn't know that.
Oh, I already knew from day one.
I got the idea from the Cult of Skaro, the Daleks with names. So I thought, go for a Dalek, then something that would be different. That's not just Doctor Who, to show I have an interest in other things. So SRAM, it's 2 things. It's Mars spelt backwards, but it's also the name of an alien monster from a series called Terrorhawks.
All right. Yeah.
Very cool.
Really good. And you're set in the Doctor Who universe at the moment, are you, Mark, with a lovely background and picture you got here?
Yeah, well, also, I took the liberty of bringing this with me.
Oh,
Fez.
If I knew you'd have a Fez, I would have brought mine.
The funny thing
I
is,
think now, thanks to Doctor Who, I now have an excuse to wear a fez wherever I go.
yeah, I have a Fez, but I put all my my stuff in it. More like a bin. So I don't really wear. I don't find it comfortable. I don't know. It's probably kind of part of autism where I don't like the feel of it. But yeah, speaking of monsters, actually, shall we go around and if anyone wants to say do they have a favourite villain or monster in Doctor Who? It can go. It doesn't go. We don't be going orders anymore. That was just for the start. Just
I say the Silence. Silence was a great monster, in my opinion, in Doctor Who. Because like if you just turn around, they're not there, and next thing you know, they're there right in front of your face, and you just easily forget.
But they're freaky though.
Yeah.
But not as freaky as my favourite one.
Well, all right. What's yours, sis?
Well, it's the Weeping Angels.
Oh, okay.
They terrified me as a kid. I mean, it was so interesting because my mum, who watched the original series, she was the one who introduced me to Doctor Who when the revival came out in 2005. But I was never afraid of the Daleks. I was never afraid of any of the other monsters, apart from the Weeping Angels. They used to scare the hell out of me constantly.
Yeah. Don't blink.
Don't blink. No, Bastu, don't blink. They are fast to run. And I can't remember what David Tennant said. Sorry, David. If you're watching, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That is. It's very scary. Like the Weeping Angels.
Yeah. Until they ruined them moving forward.
Yeah.
That's true.
They should have just left them there. Just leave them in the past. We're done.
Yeah. And they brought them back quite a lot. I think under Matt Smith, and then not much after that, really.
Yeah. They've been in the new series, haven't they?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's
they
an
have.
episode.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Neither have
Try
I.
to forget.
I watched a little first few episodes of it, and then that was it, really.
Try to forget, Jodie's. Move forward.
Yeah. It is exciting times though, seeing like David Tennant and Catherine Tate here and there.
Yeah.
They're gonna be back.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be quite exciting.
Yeah, because I think David Tennant and Catherine Tate were really good together. Like when they were on.
Yeah. What's your favourite one, Mason?
What my favourite monster? My favourite is. It's got to be the Vashta Narada. I really like the Vashta Narada, and I liked it that they never brought him back, because it's one of those villains that don't need to come back because they can't, because you know what their weaknesses and strengths are. But I really like them. But one of the most scariest villains is like the dolls that I felt with Matt Smith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is scary.
They were pretty scary.
I can't think of a scary monster, one that would have scared me, but my favorite monster has always been Davros, creator of the Daleks, especially Terry Malloy's Davros. He was a brilliant actor, and I've had the honor of meeting him. He's just great, and I've even listened to his performances in the Big Finish audios.
Yeah.
Davros.
I like Davros because he's not there all the time. Like every so often.
Oh, I know you told me that you loved Davros every single time, Mark, because I know you mentioned him to me a few times a few years back, really, and that was probably the icing on the cake for you when you told me that you had a memorable experience with him and you'll never forget it. Definitely remember that.
Yeah. So like there's some really good monsters. Like how about when we move on to like doctors, and then we can possibly move on to companions after that. Like, does anyone have a favorite doctor? And that can go to anyone. Like
says.
Yeah.
It's got to be David Tennant. I think if anyone is in the panel who's not a big fan of David Tennant, you're out of the TARDIS.
I came close. Like
But Matt Smith, he was always good as well, really. But David Tennant has to be my favourite one because I loved his charm and personality, and I think that was he drew the audiences. I mean, David Tennant, he was so brilliant before he was on Doctor Who anyway, and he used to have like because he worked in a lot of theatre and he did Shakespearean stuff as well. So that's how he got like the different tones and all of that. And if you are, because I'm an actress, used to be an actress myself, and I always found that through the theatre, you have to like do certain dialects and just try and draw the audiences in and a little bit. And he does that so wonderfully. It's just hard not to imagine what's done like that. And then Matt Smith, same thing. He wasn't like a proper actor, but he originally wanted to be a footballer, but he hurt his foot, so he went into acting. So I would say he actually add on from David Tennant stuff, but I actually found him quite cute. So these are my two favourite doctors.
Yeah. He got the chance to play football as well, Matt Smith. So he got a win-win there, I suppose.
But he played with James Corden. What did we class that?
Yeah, but they weren't my favourite episodes. The ones with Jane Corden.
Those are actually two of my favourite Matt Smith episodes.
Okay.
James Corden, yeah. I don't know why, because I don't like him. So I don't know why.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre, those kind of episodes though. Like they just bring James Corden in all of a sudden, and then they call him Craig. He does look like a person called Craig though, so that's quite funny.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think with me, for my favorite Doctor, for new series, it's David Tennant. For classic series, it's between Tom Baker and Peter Davison. But I remember the BBC did a series of Chronicles of Narnia, The Silver Chair, in which Tom Baker played a marshmallow called Puddleglum. And there's a speech he does, which is very much like he was playing the Doctor again. So Tom did a great job.
Can you remember what speech it was, Mark?
Well, I say it was in the Silver Chair. It was when he encountered the Green Lady. About if you can imagine a world and we have the ability to make your world hollow. That's one bit of the line I remember.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I've never seen the original series of Doctor Who, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Never seen.
I've watched a few bits of it.
I've watched a few scenes, but I haven't watched like an actual episode, like unless it's been on like random telly program that I've all of a sudden watched. But yeah, like so we got David Tennant. It's rolling the kind of game here.
Yeah.
What about you, James? Do you have a favourite?
Either David or Matt, it's two, but this is the thing, because I don't have a specific favorite. I like basically anything from Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Peter Capaldi's. Those three, I'd say, are probably the best for me. I don't like Eccleston, and I'm not a fan of Jodie. So those three, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Sean?
I kind of like I have a funny thing, James. Like, I was deciding what to wear, so basically my T-shirt is all three doctors. So I was like just trying to take a selfie.
The only three that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically I would say Matt Smith, David Tennant, Peter Capaldi is like all three of them did a fantastic job. I felt sorry for Capaldi on his second season, and it goes well, but the third season with Peter Capaldi did pretty good. Matt Smith, very funny, enthusiastic, and interesting. David Tennant, he's just something else, to be honest.
Yeah, like Sean, you read James's mind there because you got the shirt. Yeah. Like I agree with what you're saying, Sean, about his first series because it was great. Because like for me, getting into those three doctors, David Tennant straight away, Matt Smith straight away. It took time for Peter.
Yeah.
Because a performance changed, didn't it? Like within the series, he's done.
I didn't like Peter's like short hair.
No.
I felt it was a bit weird.
Yeah. I did like his last series, and it wasn't because it was his last series. It was just because it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. what did you think about John Sim coming back, like as the master in with Peter Capaldi?
I think that was pretty good. That was this amazing episode with Missy and John Sims as the masters. Like that blew my mind away. I was like, no way, this is not happening.
Yeah, I think, but like, do you remember at the end of that episode, the two master episodes, Peter Capaldi was starting to regenerate, and he was originally supposed to regenerate there, and that they wanted him to have a Christmas special, so they just made it go on longer for an extra episode.
Yeah.
Which what I kind of like about Jodie's, because there's no Christmas episode. Look, because there is none. They stopped doing that for her series. It would be New Year's, and I'd rather it finish early in the year rather than a special all the time.
Yeah.
Same.
Because not everyone is a fan of festive series for a festive season all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
I must admit though, I did like the next Doctor for a Christmas episode.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the one with Steve Morrissey, I think his name is. That was he actually looked like he could have been a good Doctor in the future.
Yeah, he could have been like maybe a steampunk Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice story, and it was a shame to find out that he wasn't actually a Doctor. But
It was rumored to be. I think they were going to cast originally, but then obviously David did another series.
yeah,
I think did it? You might. I don't know if it moves on to the next series.
I think you know, when David like, I think there was plans for him to do another series like after series 4.
Yeah.
And he would have gone into like the Amy Pond era, like and stuff, which would have been interesting to see.
It would have been interesting to see him with Amy.
Yeah. And that's what I would like other Doctors to be with different companions, or like if they did that was for the 60th, for example, have like Matt Smith with Betty Piper or something, or Rose or Donna. So that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of companions, do we have any favorites? Like, do people have any favorite companions? I can see your head shaking, says.
I've got so many, but if I had to choose a top 3, my third would be Donna. And then a second is a slash choice between Rose Senior. Now, we got a new Rose in the series, really, that we just found out. So I decided to call the first Rose Rose Senior, and then the other Rose Rose Junior, just because it fits so well. So Rose Senior, I think, slash with Martha is the hard one. But the only companion for me that has a very special place in my heart is Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, she was absolutely brilliant, and I remember watching the Sarah Jane Adventures. And interesting facts, though, when I went to drama school at Chicken Shad Theatre, I was friends with the brother of the actress who played Maria in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh, cool.
It was wicked though, but I know she actually did like another thing, but I think he had learning disabilities, I think, like myself, I think. But I think we were good friends for a while, so that was really nice. And he used to tell me about the Sarah Jane Adventures all the time. And I know that it was great listening to them, but it was really great. But I know that Sarah Jane, my mum loved her as well, but then when she came onto the first episode in the new series, I don't know what it's called, but it was in the school cafeteria. I looked at her and I thought,
school reunion.
oh, what was that?
School reunion.
School reunion. Yeah, that's the one. I just thought, hey, I like you, and I really got into her in the Sarah Jane Adventures. But when Elizabeth Sladen died, I cried so much. I really did cry.
Yeah, it was upsetting, and like they did all that I think with Rani and that, and Mr. Smith saying goodbye, didn't they, and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they did a whole thing for her.
yeah,
but it's annoying because it's not on BBC iPlayer.
No, it's on YouTube actually now, because when I looked on YouTube a few years ago, they did have that on there.
Yeah,
I-
because
I- but I
you
still-
can't find Sarah
yeah.
Jane things on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Talking of Sarah Jane Smith, originally there was going to be her own spin-off series. Originally it was called K9 and Company, and the first episode, the pilot still exists, about how the Doctor sent K9 to Sarah Jane Smith.
That sounds
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love K9.
Oh, he's awesome. Good dog.
It-
Good boy.
They need to bring K9 back.
Yeah, like that. They could bring K9 back within just old companions, like because then they could have him like just companions who was with the Doctor at the time as well. But yeah, says I think the first line David Tennant said in school reunion was "Hello, Sarah Jane," wasn't it?
I think
Well,
so.
I know to her it was "Hello, Sarah Jane," and then I remember it said good for you, Sarah Jane Smith," and I thought, wait, did he know her from before? And that's when my mum had to explain to me she was a companion in the old series, and like, what? But she was really lovely, Elizabeth Sladen, and I think she was one of the main reasons that if I was to be like a famous actress, I would love to be a companion, but I'm too old for it now.
Well, I don't think we're ever too old, but
With me, for my favorite companions, my favorite male companion is Mickey Smith.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
brilliant, especially how he develops from let's say, zero to hero.
Yeah.
That's great. And I cried when he left. And my favorite female companion is a girl called Nissa. She traveled with the 4th and 5th Doctor. She was also bright, very smart. But in fact, my whole family are big fans of a 2nd Doctor companion called Jamie, who came from 18th century Scotland. And because of this, I've got an aunt and uncle who are big Doctor Who fans. They named their son Jamie after Jamie McCrimmon.
Oh.
Nice.
I think they should definitely bring more companions from the older eras of the world, you know, like the 1800s and stuff, because so far all the companions have just been from the 2010s plus.
Yeah, because when I first saw Martha Jones, when I saw like all the adverts, I thought, oh, Hospital on Moon, does this mean Martha Jones is from the future if she's from some sort of moon base? But then when they just found out the moon's just, you just transfer the hospital to the moon,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a disappointment, really.
yeah,
Because it starts to get a bit too predictable with the new series, the old companions coming from present day Earth. I mean, with the exception of Captain Jack from the 51st century, and same with River Song, but there aren't that many companions from the past.
Yeah.
Is River really a companion though?
That's a good question, actually.
Like, would you really class even Jack? I don't know if Jack was in the older or anything classic or whatever.
Jack was in the 9th Doctor era, so he didn't travel with the Doctor, so he would technically count as a companion.
But
Yeah,
he came back, actually, Captain Jack and Jodie. I mean, that was like, I was so glad when he came back, though. But I thought his lines were a little bit like meh. But again, that's the script writing.
Yeah, the writing's
writer.
awful.
It's not his fault, really.
Yeah.
Jack Harriman does such a good job playing Captain Jack.
Within like the Captain Jack, he did half a series with the 9th Doctor, and you think he was in a lot with David Tennant, but he wasn't.
He was in wasn't he?
He was in Stolen on Earth Journey's End, and he was in the Master storyline, the 3 episodes of the Master. So he's in a couple. And if you count the Face of Bo, you could possibly count that because he's technically the Face of Bo too. But the thing coming back with Jodie is it wasn't like it was good how they kept it a secret. I loved it. They kept Jack a secret and then they announced him. But it was it's very copying from past lines. So for example, when like when Captain Jack was rescuing the 13th Doctor from the prison, that he was saying lines that the 10th Doctor said back when he was Doctor. So I think the more to bring Captain Jack was just to get people to watch the show more, because the ratings really dropped within Jodie's era.
Yeah.
But
the ratings have really suffered.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Mark. We need more not present day companions. Like
More from both past and future, because I must admit, after the first 2 episodes of Series 9 of New Who, I finally gave up and stopped watching New Who, and then decided to sort of stick with the classic series.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
'Cause we need like it'd be nice or not even not humans, aliens, but being alien companions on board.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like
I think he had another companion, a robot called Chameleon. Or
Yeah,
Camille,
I remember.
I don't.
Me, I don't know. That.
Nope.
I don't know much about it, but I know it's the robot.
yeah, I'm not sure I remember either. Right, I've got a question for you guys. Like, do you think the Doctor shows autistic traits?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And why do you think that?
I think with Matt Smith, he kind of shows Tracy's all over the place and disorganized, but he was still able to function like a normal person, even though he has those traits. He's like he carry on conversation with one person and then goes on to conversation with another person, and then still come back to the other conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't sit still.
True.
also got to be on the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's due. Most doctors do show it, I think. In their own little ways.
I don't think Jodie does personally.
Hmm.
I just
I
think
agree.
I just
Yeah.
don't think
I've
Jodie's
seen
really
a
does.
few clips of Jodie. She's sort of like a combination of 10 and 11 Doctor, so it's not really her own Doctor.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, as well, like with the Doctor not asking for help and like keeping a lot to the Doctor keeping a lot to themselves.
Mm.
Definitely. I definitely
Yeah.
agree with you, Mason, about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, it is something that someone told me recently during this actually Doctor and Autism series actually, because it wasn't the focus of me thinking about that, but when you actually think about it, the Doctor is autistic. But
Unless it's Jodie.
yeah, yes, yes.
Well, I always think that the goodest example of the Doctor showing autistic traits, I'm trying to think. William Hartnell, is that his name? The first Doctor.
Yeah.
I don't really think he shows autistic traits because he's like at serious. But Patrick Warburton, yes. And then a few other of the Doctors as well, and Tom Baker, absolutely. But when you get to the new classic era, Christopher Eccleston does it like a little bit up and down.
Yeah.
David Tennant and Matt Smith, 100%, because they really show it. And then Peter and Jodie, for me, not really that much. But I feel that Jodie, even though I only watched a few episodes because I stopped watching after the Rosa Parks episode, because I got into a little bit of the James the First and the Witches episode, but I'm like, nah, that didn't really sound right. But when I watched Jodie's few episodes, I think she was masking her stuff really, and picking up for girls who mask a lot. I just tend to think, okay, that's I don't know how to put it, but it's kind of like obvious, really, when you think about it, especially since the Doctor, she's the first female generated from a man's body, and it just like almost makes sense, but it's very, very stereotypical in the way that's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I think Peter's more of a serious Doctor as well as Eccleston.
Yeah,
I would say those two are more they show more of an adult kind of style of life, whereas the other Doctors are more like kids and children where they run around and do crazy stuff.
I think the sixth Doctor, Colin Baker, would have had some autism because the way he was dressed, it was very colourful, and many autistic people use like rainbow as the colour to describe autistic people. And sometimes he does shout, like when he argues with his companion Perry, he would repeat words like unstable, unstable, unstable.
Yeah.
And autistic people tend to shout a lot. So yeah, so I guess there's a lot in the sick.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying there, Mark. His colours are very rainbowy, like Conor Baker's clothes. But like actually speaking of clothes, I had a conversation not long ago about this, but because the Doctor normally wears the same clothes, do you think that represents a little bit of autism, like wearing the same patterns quite a lot of the time and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've got.
Like it's like with me, my favorite color is green, and right now I've got a bit of a greeny t-shirt. So whenever I go shopping, I always look out for anything that's green.
Okay.
I'm just wearing all blue.
Oh, blue.
Got blue, look. Nails blue.
Nice.
Blue. That's blue.
Well, I
Everything's
haven't got
blue.
any favourite colours that I wear, but I do have, and forgive me for
Out of
not
focus.
any like Jodie, but Jodie, the Jodie pop. But and I think I wanted to show this as an example. That the camera's not like moving, but showing this as an example, with like dungarees, a sort of like dungaree t-shirt and that sort of thing. She why is her face blurred? But anyway, but she's got like a little bit of colour, so it's kind of like it's based on the Doctor's personality, because I always tend to think, but this is in a theatrical point of view, the Doctor's costumes are always based on the personalities, and that really shows, and this is why the link to the Doctor and autism is very obvious. It's just because of the colours, how they're represented, and matches with the personality.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Like she does have kind of a rainbowy colour, Jodie, doesn't she? Like within her clothes.
Yeah.
She has a rainbow on the dungarees, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah.
It's got like a little bit, if
Yeah.
I can get it up
It's a little
right.
strip.
Just a
Yeah.
little strip, just
Yeah.
there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, in the middle there. So you can kind of represent her clothing to autism, but not her personality. Not like herself. Like,
I
Yeah.
think the rainbow, though, I think the rainbow's there specifically to show that the Doctor's gay.
yeah,
Also,
that's,
kind of
Good,
like
actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
LGBT.
maybe, yeah.
Sometimes the rainbows are used for LGBT as well as autism.
yeah, so,
But that's what I think the
Yeah.
rainbow's there for the costume designers to kind of hint towards that.
yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
so.
that's it. But I always wonder if like the Jodie's Doctor is non-binary or like just lesbian or
It
gay.
will
I
never
don't
get
really
answered.
know.
It will never be answered. We'll never know.
Yeah, because when the Doctor, let's say, grows an attachment into a companion, the thing is that the Doctor cannot say the way they feel, because unless they took the monster part out of Doctor Who, yeah, of course they can, but but it's different. Like within the latest series, it's very rushed with certain things. And yeah, like I don't have any problem about Doctor falling in love, but that's not what the show's about. It's kind of about fighting monsters, isn't it? Going on these
Yeah.
missions, not about falling in love. Unless it's like maybe a
That's,
one-off episode.
Yeah, that was sort of the one thing that sort of bothered me with the new series. It's only get predictable. Like all the new Doctors kept kissing someone. The classic Doctors never did that, except the 8th Doctor, and that was it.
Yeah, but it's a bit with the new companions, obviously the Doctor falling in love, right? It causes a very big storyline problem, because it's never going to get answered with like the Doctor. Let's say the Doctor got with Yaz. The minute that the new Doctor comes along, that storyline's over.
Yeah.
So it's pointless them trying to go down that route of giving the Doctor a love interest.
Well, I wouldn't mind her being kissed by the Doctor if I was a companion. I would like it.
Yeah.
Who would want to kiss an alien?
What, a 2,000, 3,000 year old?
I would,
Yeah.
especially if he's cute.
Yeah. I suppose that's a plus of it in the script.
Before he did Doctor Who, wasn't David Tennant played Casanova?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He was. I mean, that
And he's
was the
supposed to be-
favourite.
I think he's supposed to be like a love interest So no wonder lots of people kept kissing him.
Well, that's true because
Yes.
they always have a love interest, but I always have a feeling that deep down, even though the Doctor keeps regenerating, his or her love interest is always going to be Rose Tyler, 100%. That the only true love right there, no questions asked. Even if you can compare between the flirts and the relationships of falling in love, the Doctor, in any shape or form, is always going to love Rose without a question. Well, Rose Senior.
Yeah, yeah. Like even when Captain Jack came back, like mentioned Rose to the present day companions, and I was like, oh, that's a bit of a surprise. And then the Doctor didn't reply, and like kind of ignored that a little bit. But yeah, like you're right. There's always going to be one. Yeah, and then River Song is married to the Doctor. So
True.
which
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
yeah.
I wonder if this marriage was based on like him rescuing her from her being in danger rather than just actual love, really. Not just like a pawn in the game or using someone, but it's just like a marriage as a way to have freedom, really. That's what I would think, really, in the personal perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, his whole marriage did lead up to him saving her, didn't he?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also don't forget he married Queen Elizabeth I as well, but then that didn't really work out and she ended up being the Virgin Queen.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess that he had a like the Girl in the Fireplace episode with Madame de Pompadour had a really good connection. The Doctor had a really good connection with her.
Oh, I love that episode.
Yeah, I love that episode too. That would have been a good opportunity if there was someone like Madame de Pompadour, but not exactly her. Then that would have been a good companion to have with the Doctor. You know,
True.
someone from the past. A good example would have been there.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to travel with the real Madame de Pompadour, but at least someone like her would have been good enough.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is one of my favorite episodes. That episode. Because
Yeah.
because like I think music has a massive part to play, like within Doctor Who and Autism too, because it makes you like in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the Doctor and I just snogged Madame de Pompadour.
That is a good line. That is a good,
I had to go there. I'm sorry.
that is a good line.
Yeah,
I
that was good.
I like the line that even monsters under the bed have nightmares, don't you, monster? What do monsters have nightmares about? Me! Ha!
Yeah, that's all pretty cool. That like I like, and I did like the scene in that episode. You know when like when the Doctor's like he said, when did you start calling me Doctor? And had they're in each other's memories, like Madame de Pompadour and the Doctor. I think that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those kind of episodes are really good. Like the history ones are the best, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely of the new series, series 2 is my favourite.
Yeah. Series 2 is really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think series 4, series 2, 3, 4, and 5 New Who are kind of the best ones that I think. Like series 4 got 20 episodes, but and David Tennant got the most episodes within New Who, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even though I loved all of them, and I really loved the Queen Elizabeth I with the Doctor and the 50th anniversary, with the like the collaboration between history and space and time, because in each of the episodes you would have a few gaps, but then in the 50th anniversary you have it all combined together, which is marvelous. But personally, the best historical adaptation I've ever seen, and this was before I step away from the new Doctor Who after Jodie, the Rosa Parks episode was so powerful, really powerful. One of the most powerful historical episodes I've seen on Doctor Who, because it
Yes, it
actually
was.
focuses on racism and all of that as well, which is
That was good.
absolutely insane. But it worked. It actually worked before it just went downhill again.
Yeah, that was a good episode. Like, there's not much out of Jones I remember, to be honest, but
Yeah.
yeah, that one was really good because they went on a bus, didn't they? And they actually did it from like history, and like it was really nicely done. And like the guy said, you can't sit in. Like it's like all the white people had to sit in the certain rows of chairs, and the black
Yeah.
people couldn't. And then Rosa Parks at the end, within the episode, said, "Yeah, I'm going to sit here. I don't care. I don't care if I'm going to get fined. I don't care. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm just going to do it." So that's a very powerful episode. So.
Yeah, because I think when originally Doctor Who started, I think the team wanted to also be a little bit educational as well, not just fighting monsters. So with the first Doctor, there's an episode. Unfortunately, it's one of the lost ones. One about Marco Polo, not the hitting the stick one. No, it's about someone called Marco Polo, and there's no monsters in it. So I think that's what they wanted to do when they first started Doctor Who. It's not just about adventure. It's not just about fighting monsters. They want to try and get some education in to help me with history.
Agreed.
That's the whole BBC's motto, isn't it? Educate and entertain.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of like see in my mind, especially with the new Doctor, every time I think of a historical episode, I wish now that if writers were given a chance to write something that's historic, the first thing that comes into my mind, that I personally love the Tudors, is if the Doctor or a companion goes back in time, I would love to see either they've gone back in time to either the French Revolution or the execution of Anne Boleyn. I mean, those were like, I would see like how they would work in a certain way, really, especially with Anne Boleyn.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see an episode to do with COVID, like in the future.
No, don't
that's a
do
really
it.
good idea.
Like 1,000 years, like that'd be close, but just long time in the future. So see what the Earth's like.
I think they did one featuring the Mari Stellest, that ship that just disappeared.
Yeah, I
think they did.
that.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the? It wasn't a Matt Smith one, was it?
I can't remember if it was a
Or if
classic
it
or
might
a
have been
new
classic. I don't know if it was a new or classic. But I think I remember something.
I have a feeling it was classic.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Find out eventually.
Yeah. It comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like somehow there are some like Doctor Who episodes that sort of link in to certain points in history. Like there's that one set in Pompeii, and I think there was a Fifth Doctor episode about how the Great Fire in London started. So things like that.
Was there one in about the Fifth Doctor?
The Great Fire of London.
Oh, okay.
And of course, as I mentioned, Pompeii. That's the one with David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
Yeah, that was a very powerful episode.
The one with Capaldi and.
Go on, James.
No, fun.
No, I was just saying that was when Peter Capaldi started before he became the actual Doctor, which I did find it a bit weird. But I think there's a theory going on that it was a reincarnation of the guy who died.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you guys know that Martha Jones' character was played by the actor played in the Cybermen storyline before actually?
Oh yeah, I knew.
Yeah, she was in that one. There's also another one where there's a Fifth Doctor episode where Colin Baker's in it, but he's playing a Time Lord security guard. So before he became the Doctor, he was a normal Gallifreyan.
I think they just recruit on the scene, you know, the BBC.
Yeah.
They just recruit whoever they want halfway through filming.
It seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah. But it is like I would like to see it more in space actually, like Doctor Who, because it's more like land at the moment.
Yeah.
Like land based.
You say sea? Sea.
What was that?
Did you say in the sea?
No.
Oh.
On land. Like on Earth. No.
Yeah.
To those of you who stopped watching, are you thinking about going back to it within, like, with Russell coming back and like new Doctor Ncuti Gatwa, his name is?
Yeah, Sweetie, whatever the hell you call him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, sweetie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot, and if it's still too Marvelized, because I know that they're trying to make Doctor Who more like Marvel and more cinematic. If it's still too cinematic, going back with Russell, I probably won't watch it again.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree because I think with the new design of the Cyberman, they tried to make it look like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, but all their camera movements, it used to be raw. Like the whole Doctor Who used to be more like shot raw type. Like, you know, like it didn't look like it was on £1,000 rigs and that, you know, £1 million rigs. Now it looks so cinematic and so like movie like.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's hard to watch now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixed with the bad writing.
I think it's not just like it's not just the way it's filmed. It's also some of the storylines. Like they're not asking certain questions,
Yeah.
and they're not filling in the gaps, and it gets more confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. And
Or they
like,
try to add too much. They try to make too much of a storyline and they haven't got
True.
time to finish
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
It's
I
hard.
mean, like with Matt and like with David, I mean, oh gosh, who was the writer at the beginning of the like Doctor Who? Steve, not Stephen Moffat, but
It probably was Moffat. It was Russell T Davies and then it was Moffat, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Both Russell
Yeah,
T
it was
Davies and
Muppet.
Stephen Moffat. Yeah, because I know Stephen, he wrote The Adventures of Tintin when it came out, and both of them were such brilliant writers, good storytelling, good narrative. But then when they changed writers, especially when Jodie's era, because they had the writers from Northchurch, because Jodie and David had worked on the show before, it kind of felt like more Northchurch rather than actual Doctor Who. So it was kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's a repetitive to what it was before, and it just makes it a bit dull. I mean, the first time that Jodie comes on the first few series, it's really, really good, and then it just becomes like taking over like Northchurch rather than Doctor Who, which was a bit,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say dumb, but just a bit meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't really worked. I'm sad for her because she's a good actress and everything. It's just what she's been given.
yeah.
Sure.
Because like
I think the first time I discovered Jodie, wasn't she in a film about St. Tridians?
No.
I'm not sure, but how I come across with her, like before she was announced, I watched her in a series called Trust Me. It was like something about trust. Funny enough. Yeah, no, I thought she was alright in that, and I watched a little bit of Broadchurch. So I only watched a series of Broadchurch.
Oh, I called it Northchurch instead of Broadchurch.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm such an idiot.
No, I
Sorry,
was about to
Jodie.
correct you.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know about her until she took over Doctor Who. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
ditto.
You mostly
Same.
don't.
huh?
You mostly do like you don't really hear of a doctor until they've been on Doctor Who.
No, well, obviously everyone knew Sweetie because he's from Sex Education.
Mm.
But other than that, yeah, I don't know any of the new people they're bringing in.
Yeah,
No.
same.
No.
I mean, I knew the new Doctor Who was going to be in because, of course, Sex Education. But then, the person who's playing Rose Junior, I've never heard of her before. But I'm actually quite curious to see what she's going to bring to the table.
If you I don't know, you've seen a show called Heartstopper on Netflix.
Okay.
Like she's
Yeah.
in that. And
Is she
yeah,
a good actor?
yeah, she is like she's a transgender actor.
Yeah, I know that.
It's quite cool that they're bringing that into Doctor Who, because
They might not reference it though.
no, I think they are because the actor did he did a speech for like Pride weekend, and like they said that that the character in Doctor Who is going to be referenced to being trans,
Okay.
like the Rose character. So yeah, it's all pretty good that Doctor Who are doing that.
Yeah.
But the question about it is it going to be like to Netflix, really, when it's the worry about like the Doctor Who after the new Doctor comes on after the 60th anniversary episode? The question is, even if Russell T Davies wasn't on, being a writer, would it be to Netflix for each season? That's the big question.
They
have a
did.
good
They,
point.
they was on Netflix, weren't they? And then they transferred to BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it on Netflix. I use Netflix more than
No, I think what says means is how it's filmed, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, how it's going
Yeah.
to be filmed in the new series when the new Doctor
Oh.
comes on.
Yeah.
Too
True.
dramatized,
Hmm.
too cinematic.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Well, realistically, I've said this to you before, Mason. I think that they really, if they mess this series up, it might be the end of new Doctor Who, because the ratings have suffered so bad that I think if they mess this series up, they're going to lose a lot of fans.
Yeah.
That's like what they did in the 80s, really, wasn't it, with the old Doctor Who?
Yeah.
They had to end it in the end because it just no one was watching anymore.
Yes. One last shot.
If not, they got at least another 2 or so, and then I think the BBC might pull the funding because they've lost their funding anyway, haven't they?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, the BBC they were cut funding massively.
Yeah.
So,
and the pandemic didn't help either, really.
no.
Yeah.
I think they're throwing everything.
It's time to leave it to the fans now. It's the fans that have created some like their own Doctor Who episodes, and some of them are actually even better than TV series.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched fan films and they're brilliant, and like it's pretty good. And like what I feel like is going to happen because the 60th is only around the corner. It's next year, isn't it? I feel like bringing David Tennant back is not only because he wants to do it himself and he's fan. It's because the show needs people to watch it, and if
they need everyone to. They need all of us to sit back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But also, David doesn't want to go, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does want to go.
Yeah, he wants to go now.
Like, I actually saw
he's being paid. I want to know how much he's being paid for this.
The only thing I want is Matt Smith, because basically Matt Smith said in an interview, it's like, if you had the choice between Morbius or Terminator, which one would you choose? He basically said, I want to go back to Doctor Who.
Morbius,
like,
they did him dirty in Morbius.
Yeah, if I'm bored, I'm gonna watch that movie, but I always saw the scene with them dancing, and it's like,
it's bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's probably worse than Jodie's series, to be fair.
Yeah, it's gonna be yeah. I think more people will get announced, but not yet because they've announced quite a lot already. For prior to 60.
With this, they need to. I think they want everyone to at least give the new Doctor a chance. So they're bringing David Tennant back, putting them both in the same episode, and going, give him a chance, and then move on. Yeah,
because it would be being much on like the new Doctor because I don't think no Doctor's straight on gone onto like an anniversary episode. There's quite a lot of pressure on that on itself being a Doctor.
No Doctor's come off the back end of Jodie's terrible run, so you've got to.
Yeah.
I have to admit though, I wasn't too keen on the War Doctor because I was among those fans who we all assumed that the 8th Doctor fought in the Time War, but because in a way the BBC doesn't have a sense of nostalgia, rather than remember the classic series, they decide, no, let's just bring in a new Doctor, because it just sort of ruined all our theories. All our theories went down the toilet by the time they brought in the War Doctor.
Yeah.
No offense to John Hurt, because he was a great actor. I just thought it would have been better just to stick with the 8th Doctor.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because it was like, you know, that cliffhanger, like on that episode, and then like Matt Smith was holding Clara, and then he saw this random Doctor or person, and then they said introducing John Hurt as the War Doctor, and I didn't understand who that was, because it was very confusing until maybe the 50th, like explaining who the War Doctor is and stuff. But it was very
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, I mean, when it is confusing now, you're just trying to think if you include the War Doctor, you're thinking about the 15th Doctor, but if you exclude him, it's the 14th Doctor
Yeah,
this
Jodie's
time.
technically
Yeah.
the 15th Doctor.
Yeah, including all these regenerations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got David Tennant regenerated again. See, Peter Capaldi glimpse that he did.
Yeah, in Stolen Earth and Jenny's End, I never liked that two-parter.
Yeah. I'd say the trailer though, I think for Stolen Earth was actually pretty good, seeing all the companions.
Yeah.
Because I thought with Stolen Earth, the trouble was with like the new series that all the first four, the last episodes have been on Earth. So with series 4, I was like, really, Earth again? How about a different planet for once? And of course they brought companions back, but they're all new. But no offense to Sarah Jane Smith, because she is good, but she wasn't really a fighter. Because in the cliffhanger, she is in a car about to be shot by 2 Daleks. She could have just run them over, but she didn't. So maybe it would have been better if it was something like a good man who goes to war, get variety of different people to help the Doctor. And how about instead of the Earth gets stolen, how about another planet gets stolen? And maybe it could explain how his Victorian team got together, because there's no story that explains how his Victorian team got together. You know, Jenny, Strax, and Madame Vastral. There's no story that explains how they were formed.
Yeah, it's really strange because we last saw them. I think wasn't it Peter Capaldi's first episode.
Yeah,
as
it
the
was
Doctor,
actually.
and then they vanished after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wait, was that the
They
last
were
time we
great
were seen?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, that was 2015 or 2017.
yeah.
Yeah, like his companions like that, like Jenny, like, and you know that episode. I think it was that like the episode that was like the Doctor was locked in the chamber and it was all red and Jenny was there.
Red, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Oh,
that one. That episode was really good until Clara and the Doctor was reunited, because I liked seeing Jenny and the Doctor on their own, like the 11th Doctor, and like it was nice seeing them together. Then she kind of backtracked, Jenny, until Clara come back. So yeah. But like there's one episode, like it's very controversial, like the hybrid episode with Peter Capaldi, where he's going, it's the episode after Clara gets killed by the Raven.
Oh yeah.
And he's in that dial place and he's getting chased and he dies, or he's going around in a circle, isn't he?
And he dies constantly.
Oh yeah.
He dies constantly.
Yeah.
I was quite bored about that because I like
I've only watched it once. I've only watched the episode once, and I've never. Every time I watch back, I skip it.
Yeah, like everyone has their opinions, and people say to me, "Oh, that's my favorite Doctor Who episode," and I say, "Okay," and then in my mind, saying like being autistic, that's boring.
Yeah.
That's boring.
I think in my opinion, the worst Capaldi episode was "Kill the Moon." But the idea of the moon being an egg. And
really?
Yeah, like
Stolen
Earth and Jenny's End. That's an episode which it's an episode that sort of damages the original timeline in the classic series, because Cybermen have always used the moon, the dark side, as their sort of base of operations. And now, with the moon being an egg, that just damages the timeline.
That's never been referenced once in New Who ever. That the Cybermen have used the moon as their base of operation.
It's mentioned a lot in the classic series.
It's not mentioned once.
No.
When you think of the moon as the egg, really, it sounds like you're trying to crack into to make it an omelette.
Yeah, no, it's a really crap. It's a really crap episode.
Cybermen's always on Earth though. Like again, like we don't really. I didn't know who. They're always based around Earth and Earth stuff. But that episode was not great. The egg one, like moon hatching into an egg.
Yeah, it's another good episode.
Yeah, I I would like within the new Doctor, the Doctor to be on his own for a little while without a companion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because when you think about it, because the companions, most of them are females, really, and it just
True.
would be nice just to see the Doctor just going on a solo trip, and maybe like towards the end of a series or something, he finds a new companion, and then just introduces her, go into more of his or her depth during the Christmas episode. That's
Mm.
what I think, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, they
Yeah.
when they tried to do that, didn't they, with the Titanic episode?
Yeah, they did
On the moon.
actually.
They tried to have
Oh,
him without a companion, and then they the next episode after that, he got a new companion, which was Donna.
yeah. I mean.
So,
Oh, that Titanic episode though. Oh damn, I could go into so much more of it really, in the good and bad way really, especially since I interviewed some of the descendants as well of Titanic survivors.
mm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that Titanic episode was really good. I like the speech about what David Tennant did in that episode.
The one on the corridor.
Yeah, the one at the corridor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the one that goes, I've always wanted to say this, but Allonsy Alonso, was
Yeah.
that the one?
No. He does say Allonsy at the end of it, but it's the one where he goes, "I'm from Gallifrey."
Yeah,
And that one.
Oh
the
yeah.
Consolation Cerberus. I'm known.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Years old.
Yeah, he did that in the 50th anniversary episode in front of a rabbit.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, with the Titanic episode as well, and I know it had like lots of controversy about it, especially with Milvina Dean, who was the last living survivor, because she was only like 3 months old at the time of the disaster, and she watched it and she thought that episode was really disrespectful towards Titanic survivors and their families. Oh, we just lost
Wow.
Mark.
That's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
we've lost Mark. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
we lost
I
him.
know. Oh no. We've had a glitch in the TARDIS, but
In the UK, he died.
yeah. I'm sure we'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe the internet went.
Yeah.
But yeah, so why did your friend or that person find it disrespectful? Says.
Well, Milvina Dean, because oh yeah, Mark's back.
Hey,
Woo!
love that.
Sorry about that. Internet problems.
It's all right.
No problem.
Well, anyway, Milvina Dean, she and like other survivors, the Titanic, anything to do with the Titanic, they always get controversial about really, because it they how do I put this? It's not just Doctor Who. They were like other like things like A Night to Remember, James Cameron's Titanic movie. Most of them get really critical about it, especially with how it was dealt with, really. And I remember I interviewed one of the descendants of survivors whose mother was Edith Brown Hazeman. Fascinating story that lady had. But he actually said to me in the interview that in James Cameron's movie in Titanic, where they went into their like old Rose and her granddaughter went into the helicopter before landing on the Keldish, that was based on his mother's actual experience with one of his sisters who was on there. And he said he found that one a little bit okay, but meh. But he said that the one where Murdoch got shot in the head, like commit suicide during the sinking, he said that was really a little bit of disrespectful, because that was that wasn't really portrayed right, and it did go to court as well, because it was just got so bad, and in the end James Cameron had to pay compensation towards Murdoch's family. But in a way, Milvina Dean, I don't know. I think like descendants and survivors can be very critical on how the Titanic's portrayed in terms of like historically and how accurate it is towards the family, if there's anything that's that can hurt people really. And I think that's what Doctor Who did to Milvina Dean in the Titanic episode. She said it was really hurtful, and the way that the writers did it was so disrespectful, and it hurted towards Titanic survivors and their descendants as well, but mostly Titanic survivors, because I think at the time only only 3 of them lived now, or no, actually, 2007. Only Milvina Dean survived, and she died 2 years later after that episode was aired.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, because like I kind of understand why that kind of can be like I hurt people finish that episode because it almost like the Titanic is sinking, isn't it? Because in the episode it sinks down to earth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it nearly hits the Queen. In that episode.
Well, almost hit the Queen, but the doctor saves it. But that's what Milvina Dean,
Mm.
she actually got a little bit cross about. That was the nail in the coffin for her, because she thought, oh, okay. But then when she saw that like the actual Titanic ship went straight down towards Buckingham Palace before it lifting itself up again by the doctor, she thought for her, that's the nail in the coffin. That's the bit I really hated about the episode.
Yeah, yeah. I think that there are those kind of type of episodes that can really offend people.
Yeah.
Like more recent, they did a dyspraxia storyline on a character in Doctor Who, and people with dyspraxia can get offended by that because they focus it on a person not riding a bike and stuff, and people like with autism, everyone experiences it differently, and that's the same with dyspraxia. Although they're two separate things, but like and the storyline wasn't fulfilled. Like he couldn't ride a bike and said about that, and not much else was done. But before the actor left, he could ride a bike in the end. But yeah, there's just those things can offend people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I suppose like probably when your friend watched that before because it crashed into the Titanic, crashed into the TARDIS, didn't it? Like
Yeah, that's it really, because like it crashed into the actual Titanic ship in space crashed into the TARDIS, so that in the way the Titanic, not the Titanic, the TARDIS, beg your pardon, was kind of like the iceberg in the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But yeah, that's not the kind of episodes that like I suppose if you're a survivor of the Titanic, you are going to be deeply offended by it because like why would they show that in a show when the Titanic's gone?
Yeah.
But yeah, even though the history episodes are great, like they are really deep as well.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, so we might have already said this, but I'm just going to ask: does anyone have like a standout episode that you'd say that's my all-time favorite episode?
Bells of St. John. I think that's one of my favorite episodes. One of my few favorite episodes because it's like you introduce a new companion, you don't know who she is, and next thing is like you just plop her in. Next thing, oh great, you're on a plane, you're gonna go out on up the Shard, and so on. It's like he's just a random person.
Yeah, that was quite cool. He went on his bike up the Shard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that was great. Like with the internet as well. Like yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good episode, sure. Wasn't it? I think that was it that in series 6? I think.
Series 7.
Oh, I'll say series 7.
It was like 4 episodes before Matt left.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that. Do you think because of that? Do you think that they should have just kept Karen and Arthur on till the end of Matt's thing, like think leaving? Because Clara didn't really get a lot, even though there and then she kept dying. But do you think do you think Amy and Rory should have stayed on right to the end?
No, I
No.
mean, I loved Amy and Rory, don't get me wrong, but I think their death scene was really traumatic. And I think that was one of the most brilliant writings about it. And with Clara fitting in, as well as her being the Dalek and then with different lives, to me, that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Sis.
Because like with the classic series, sometimes the companions would leave in the middle of a series rather than the very end. So it's nice to sort of mix things up.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so because there were some really good episodes. within Clara and Matt. Like the ring of Akatem speech was brilliant, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James, do you have a favourite?
No, not really. More for me, it's a series rather than episode. I just prefer Matt's second series.
Yeah. Like, I think, what was the plot on that one? It weren't the silence. It might have been the silence.
I think it is a silence one.
Yeah. Because
I'm not a fan of his first series really that much.
Yeah, it was the Pandorica kind of thing, wasn't it? His first one.
Yeah.
The Pandorica is a cool episode though.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It was nice, like with the Romans and stuff like that.
It freaks me out, the music that they use when the River discovers the Romans in that episode. It freaks me out. I hate it. Terrifies me. It's horrible.
Yeah. It is. I did like that. I was petrified of the silence though.
I don't like. I do like the silence, but they are scary.
Yeah. Like, it's a pretty cool concept though. Like, you don't remember them when you stop looking at them.
Yeah, it's nice they made the episodes in America.
Yeah.
Instead of it always being in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really clever. Really clever.
Yeah. It was most of Matt's, because I don't think, like, even though David had an episode in the actual episode, it was like, you remember the Dalek one, and it was said it was in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because that wasn't, I believe it wasn't even in New York.
It probably wasn't filmed. No, it wasn't.
No. It was fake. It was like green screen and stuff, which they made it look. They make those kind of stuff really good, look well.
I think it was a practical set more than anything, but it's still, it wasn't filmed in New York.
Yeah.
I think when I went to Cardiff a couple of years ago in 2015, me and my dad went to the at a restaurant next to the diner where they shot the first scene with Series 6 with Matt Smith came out of the diner.
No way!
Yes, it's right there in Cardiff, in the Cardiff Bay area. I was like, I forgot where exactly, but it was right next door. I was like, I kind of wish I went back to that.
They have all those kind of stuff in Cardiff. Like all the locations.
Well, the actual buildings in Cardiff, isn't it? The TV studio.
Yeah.
Film everything in Cardiff.
Yeah. Like I did like we said earlier about the library episodes. Like I'm not a big fan of books, but I would like to go see the library. I think that's in Swansea.
Wait, filmed in an actual library.
Yeah.
I thought the whole set was like CG.
No, not always. No.
Like it's quite a cool episode, because they'll do one scene somewhere, like for the, let's say example, the last episode of Amy and Rory, the Manhattan, Angels Take My Hand. Like I think the graveyard was in America, and some of it was in the UK. So that Quay place where Rory and that got really old in that place, that was in England. So it's really clever how they do that in Doctor Who. Like one place could be a million miles away to another place, and it looks all the same.
Yeah,
it does. But yeah, I think we've had a really nice conversation, everyone, about Doctor Who and autism. It's been really fun. I'm going to go around and just ask it, as we said before, if you have a quote that you relate to in Doctor Who. If not, maybe a line. If not, advice about autism if you want. You can do both if you like. I'm going to go opposite ways from last time. I'll start with Mark. I'll start with you.
Well, I do have a favourite line from the Second Doctor. There are some corners of the universe that have bred the most terrible things which act against everything that we believe in. They must be fought.
Yeah.
From the episode Moonbase.
Moonbase. Yeah. Well, it was actually called Moonbase.
Yeah, that was the episode. It was one of the Cybermen episodes with the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton.
Right, and and then Cyberman went up to the moon. Yeah, till you said that, Mark, I never knew the Cybermen went to the moon. So,
No.
on where the darts go, maybe the sun. But also thanks, Mark. Is I have heard that quote once before. Because yeah, really good quote. What about you, Sean?
I just see this one from the first episode of Matt Smith. You even kept the bow tie? Yes, I kept the bow tie. Bow ties are cool.
Yeah, bow ties are pretty cool. I guess you like them as well, Sean.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, good, great quote. What about you, James?
From the Christmas Carol episode, where Matt Smith goes, in 2,000 years of time and space, I've never met someone who's not important.
Yeah,
it's a good. I think I butchered that, but it's still, yeah.
I like it.
yeah, it's pretty good. Like you had the old man who doesn't care, and then you have a Doctor who does. So, there you go. Says, what about you?
Oh, I'm going to be a cheater and have two, but one's with the Sarah Jane Adventures. And the Sarah Jane Adventures was, I've seen many things in space and I've seen many things around me. It's a long monologue, but I can't remember off it by heart, but I know it's the start of beginning. I feel this relates to me because if you have been anywhere, if you have traveled places or you've seen places, then it just kind of relates. And that's a very human quote, I think. And then the Doctor Who one, Allonsy, you got to go with that, with the catchphrase with David Tennant. How could you not?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Allonsy Alonso.
Yeah. Alonso.
Alonso.
Yeah.
I sound a bit like Nan from Catherine Tate with that laugh.
Yeah. He said, yeah, because he says that the most, that Matt Smith, Geronimo, the 12th Doctor's Clara. But yeah, well, lots of great advice, guys, or quotes even that you guys relate to. And yeah, thanks for sharing, and it's been great all having you back here again, and hope you've all enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you so much, Mason.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.